Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. The Curse of Oak Island. The guys are back in the game after tunnel hit under the garden shaft. The Curse of Oak Island team started celebrating on last night's episode as they found clear evidence of the long sought-after tunnel under the garden shaft. Finally, after weeks of frustration, the flooding in the shaft was dealt with, and Dumas began probe drilling at the bottom. The Dumas guys began drilling at 90 feet and aimed straight down, hoping to hit something at about 95 feet. The Oak Island team stood on the surface, impatiently watching the monitors, and they were rewarded when the drill struck something at 97 feet. The drill casing was brought back up to reveal a pretty hefty chunk of wood, which will be sent straight away for carbon-14 dating. They'll be hoping for a date pre-1790s. While this is not a definitive confirmation that they've located the tunnel, it does seem pretty likely. The Oak Island team reckons this tunnel runs under the garden shaft and heads directly to the baby blob, where they expect to find a quantity of precious metals. Marty Lagina said with a big grin, "We are back in the game." Lagina brothers rule out another big dig for Oak Island for this season. Unfortunately, it wasn't all good news last night. The Lagina brothers announced to the team that there would be no new big dig this season. Frankly, with us already halfway through the season, they concluded they just don't have the time to bring in large caissons. So the focus will remain on the garden shaft, which was the original plan for this season, and hopefully they've now got the ball rolling with last night's discovery. Also on last night's show, there was lots of discussion about artifacts. In the last couple of weeks, the archaeologists on Lot 5 recovered a couple of tiny colorful beads from the circular stone feature. The guys suspected they were Venetian glass, but decided to take the artifacts to bead expert Philip Doucet. Philip was super impressed with the beads, and didn't hesitate to say they were definitely from Venice. He said the distinctive blue, red, and white stripes suggested the beads were an early formation, produced by stretching out the glass by hand. Oak Island team find 500-year-old Venetian beads. The expert dated them to about 1500 to 1650. Philip explained how these beads were considered very high-value items. Just 4 or 5 of these beads could purchase a beaver pelt. He also stated that these beads were often used as currency by Portuguese sailors and merchants who traveled up and down the east coast of North America 500 years ago. The guys were reminded of the theory that the stone roadway in the swamp could have been built 500 years ago by the Portuguese. Perhaps the Portuguese also built the circular stone feature where the beads were found. Also on the theme of Lot 5 artifacts, Laird Niven, Emma Culligan, and Gary Drayton identified an old coin, which was also recovered from the circular stone feature. It was an English penny or halfpenny from the 1760s, most likely minted during the reign of King George IV. The coin was buried in a layer near the surface, so the guys hope there will be even older artifacts buried underneath. Fingers crossed. The Curse of Oak Island. The guys were back in the game after the monumental breakthrough beneath the garden shaft. It was as if the island itself had held its breath for centuries, waiting for this moment. The air hummed with anticipation as Rick Lagina, Marty Lagina, and the rest of the team stood on the edge of history. For years, Oak Island had been shrouded in mystery, its secrets buried deep beneath layers of earth and legend. The island had tantalized treasure hunters and historians alike, with tales of hidden riches, ancient artifacts, and a curse that seemed to thwart every attempt to uncover its secrets. But now, after countless setbacks and false starts, the team had finally struck gold. Or, more accurately, they had struck tunnel, a narrow passageway that seemed to lead deeper into the heart of the island than anyone had dared to venture before. Excitement crackled in the air as the team prepared to explore the tunnel. Every step they took felt like a step closer to unraveling the mystery that had eluded them for so long. But as they descended into the darkness, they couldn't shake the feeling that they were not alone. The tunnel was narrow and claustrophobic, its walls slick with moisture and its floor uneven with age. It seemed to stretch on forever, twisting and turning like the labyrinth of a madman's mind. But the team pressed on, driven by a determination to uncover the truth, no matter the cost. As they delved deeper into the tunnel, they began to uncover signs of human habitation, primitive tools, scraps of clothing, even the remains of what appeared to be a makeshift campsite. It was as if someone had once lived here, eking out a desperate existence in the depths of the earth. But the further they went, the more ominous the tunnel became. Strange symbols were etched into the walls, symbols that seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy, and the air grew thick with a sense of unease, as if the very walls themselves were watching their every move. Just when they thought they couldn't go any further, they stumbled upon a chamber unlike anything they had ever seen before. The walls were adorned with intricate carvings, depicting scenes of unspeakable horror and unimaginable beauty. And at the center of the chamber stood a pedestal, upon which rested a small, ornately decorated chest. With trembling hands, Rick reached out and opened the chest, revealing a trove of treasures beyond imagining: gold coins, precious gems, and ancient artifacts of untold value. It was a moment of triumph, a vindication of all their years of hard work and dedication. But their victory was short-lived, for as soon as they laid eyes on the treasure, they felt the ground beneath them begin to tremble. And then, with a deafening roar, the chamber began to collapse around them, burying the treasure once more beneath tons of earth and stone. As they struggled to escape the crumbling chamber, they realized too late the true nature of the curse that had plagued Oak Island for centuries. It was not a curse of gold or riches, but a curse of greed, a curse that had driven countless men to their doom in search of treasures beyond their wildest dreams. And as they emerged from the tunnel, battered and bruised but alive, they knew that they had been given a second chance, a chance to walk away from the island and leave its secrets buried forever. For some treasures were never meant to be found, and some curses were better left unbroken.